Right, now let's bring the conversation home to a company that we actually own in our hot stocks portfolio, and it is one of the two leaders in private education here in this country, and that's Curro, of course. Market capitalization of this one after a number of rights issues and some pretty stellar growth is 18 billion rand. Price to earnings ratio has always been top of the pops, above 100 or thereabouts. Not a dividend payer. If anything, it's been raising capital left, right and centre. So what do we think about these guys?
Yeah, so part of the PSG stable, they own about 52%. It has been a phenomenal success story, really identified the growing and expanding need for private and affordable private education in South Africa, and moved into a space slightly below Vestact, which has been listed for much longer, and rapidly grew both organically, setting up new campuses, but also via acquisition, so consolidating the space somewhat. I think very high expectations, as we see in the share price, and has been quite capital hungry. As we said, the traditional model of campuses and teachers is quite capital intensive. So I think the growth is there. The question is, can they leverage that capital to get a good return on capital?
Yeah. There's the chart. So while we've been talking, you'll see it had a little bit of a whoopsie-doo there in late 2015, normalized a bit. It's around 50 rands a share. I guess the real issue is, as you say, can they grow into that valuation, and whether the sort of emerging customer base is going to prioritize their kids' education in a difficult environment for middle-income consumers.
Yes, and I think that's the reason partly for the pause in the share price is exactly that. I think there's good secular growth opportunities, but obviously there's still an affordable issue, affordability issue. The tax rate has been raised. There's pressure, especially on their core market segment, and I think it does chip away at a certain level, and bad debts can be a little bit of a threat as well.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because at the first they had the sort of Meridian schools where they got some funding, I think, from the PRC and from Old Mutual to start those. They found that slightly less effective, and they've had a worse experience with bad debts apparently in that space. So the conventional Curro rollout is where they want to focus now. But of course, there's a limited number of potential parents in that space. But anyway, so far so good. One other thing I want to just ask you about is it appears that with Chris van der Merwe stepping back as CEO and his replacement has already been identified, a fellow called Andries Schreelen.
The CEO, yes.
They're looking at a potential split down the line of their tertiary educational institutions, Embury and other things that they've got in that space from the schools. Yeah, so what would that be, like a spin-off perhaps?
Yes, that's right. They're going to set an unbundling, and they plan to do it during the course of 2017. So quite interesting. Yeah, they see opportunities in the tertiary space, obviously with the fees must fall campaigns, and we've seen Vestact very good growth there. So identified that, but I guess that's earlier in the growth cycle, and they want to split that out in terms of the metrics, and I guess raise capital.
So they want to, in a way, prevent there from being a perceived sort of capital hungry element. Well, that's an interesting strategy. So if we own Curro's currently, chances are we're going to get a split off coming through there.
That's right, yeah. So two stocks.
So what else is there to be said here? I mean, the quality of the operation, they fell a bit foul of public opinion about a year or two ago with concerns about racism in the schools. Do you think that's been adequately addressed?
Yeah, I think it has been. You know, obviously in a private environment you have to have certain standards, and it's difficult in terms of some of the measures and considerations, but I think they worked their way through that. It's a sort of accepted brand now, accepted offering. I guess the question is really on a valuation perspective. The tertiary spin-out is interesting, but also quite capital hungry and got a long way to go. So, yeah, I guess it's do you think there's value here?
And do you? Hot or not?
I think it's too expensive personally, so not at these prices.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to go hot anyway because we own them, so that's got to be a vote of confidence. Right.